A short day today, being Easter Sunday. We went to see the grandson, but seems like I got more done. Seems more productive anyway. We've cut all these pieces, trimmed the brackets back if they needed it, fitted the fascia. I took the centre post out that was a temporary one, fitted the first piece of infill. So we've got to go around, trim off with these pieces down the centres here on each one of these uprights, and the same down that end. We put the fascia in. Got to readjust that one because there's some bolts from the fixings just to mark out and countersink. So that's it for today. Short day, but seems I've got more done. Well, bank holiday Monday afternoon. High winds prevailed and rain. We had a clear spell. You might be able to hear the rain there coming in. It's nice and bright over there and grey as hell over there. It's coming this way, and the wind is getting under the sheet a little bit. Hopefully could do with another strap going all the way across, but I haven't got anything that long. But not allowed to dig a rope out and do a bit of storm lashing. But as I can't go outside and work, I'm just clamping some uprights in, ready to fix, and then just saw them off afterwards. Yeah, just blown over now, and that'll be calm again before the next lot hits. So, next day, Tuesday I believe it is today, can't remember now. It's not quite as windy. We've got the uprights screwed in and secured. Spoke too soon as a gust of wind comes up. This piece of infill here to bring it flush with that. And I've just fitted the other side all the way up. And the next is to just do infills on each of these uprights. I've got to add the upright in the middle here. Now that support beam's out of the way, and I think the weather's going to turn about 5 o'clock time, so we've got to crack on, and anything else I can do under the tarp. But yeah, we are getting closer to the actual felting bit, thank God, which will mean that this side first, which then means I'll have no access externally to get inside, so I'm going to have to get another ladder to get up inside. But it's taking shape now finally. I've adjusted the fascia down there, so that's now ready. So it's just the big problem is going to be figuring out how to block in that transitional change between the two angles. So all the infilling is infilled now. So they're spaced to take the sheets at 94 centimetres. So it should give me a nice cathedral style gable end. There'll be no Bible meetings in my garage, I can assure you of that. Well, another day. No progress up here. But the sheets that are going on the end, I've just jet washed both sides and fired the high pressure water down the inside of the box section in it to try and clear out most of the bugs and algae that grows in these sheets over time. So they're all ready and just sitting there to drain. Hopefully they'll be, well, weather permitting, tomorrow, and them drying out. Although it's not too much of a thing because they're going vertical anyway, so they can drip dry, as they say. So we got that done, and while I had the washer out in the rain, I done all the angle sectioning that I'll be using for the ridge and the infill along there. So that's all cleaned up as well now from years of storage. So I haven't got to mess about waiting for a day to do that. The day has come. So yeah, no further forward anywhere up here. We had a fairly decent storm wind, I think 40 to 60 mile an hour gusts, and rain with it. It survived. So that's the idea with the twin wall sheeting. At the minute that's just temporarily clamped there and sitting on the top of the shed, that is the other side of the wall. But it's quite windy today, so for me to position it so that the bottom of it is just below the metal sheeting, and then go up and handsaw off at an angle. The problem is the wind's gusting. It could end up damaging the sheet while I'm trying to fix it, after I've fixed it, or while I'm cutting it. So today is not going to be the day that I get them done, but I've offered it up just to see, make sure that yeah, the measure twice, cut once did work, or did work this time. So they do fit. Then I'm just going to put a bead of clear sealant down between the joints, between the sheets, and then if it does sort of sit off of the timber, I might just put a bead all the way around of clear silicone glaze and sealant around the edge. But the idea works anyway. All I've got to do is now dig around my sheds of plenty and find some suitable screw weatherproof fixings to go through the sheet into the timber. Well, I've got them up here in position for now. That was a bit of a task, carrying these when the wind gusts, but a quick bit of video in between gusts of wind and lots of aircraft noise. And it sounds like he's on his way back. I've got a typhoon jet, keeps flying over in circles. As there is a local base where they're stationed. Might be the aircraft landing lights on the roof of that shed. They might get confused, but we do have a lot of activity due to the current situation in Ukraine. The aircraft certainly are more active than they used to be, so they're obviously keeping their hand in. But way over there is the bombing range that they use, along with the Americans and the Apache helicopters. Right, well, as you can probably hear, it's now the next day, and it's still windy. A lot windier than they said it was going to be on the forecast. It's gusting now. I don't know whether I was picking it up too much on the camera, but the first one I want to do is over this chasm here, because it's the roughest sheet, and then I can use them bits over this end here. But I'm just waiting for a break in the wind to attempt to clamp it. Well, what a PIA, pain in the ass. Right, yeah, just as the wind now dies down, I've finished for the day. Typical, isn't it? I've run into a slight hitch though. When I measured these in the stack, I measured two just to check, and they were 94.5 centimetres in width. So I done the centres at 94.5 on these uprights. There was a little bit of a discrepancy, but I kind of figured there would be in real world physics. Which I just adjusted one of the uprights slightly and put that one in. Then the offcut fitted the next section, and the remainder isn't quite enough to do that end. So I started on the next sheet to do the main upright on the right hand side, picked the sheet out, and it was flush to the end. And like, I know there's a bit of run out, but not that much. So I measured the sheet, and two of them are 98 centimetres, two of them are 94.5. Oh, joy of joys. That'll probably help there, because I'll still end up needing to cut a blind bit just to fit across the end there to blanket off, because it'll all be wood, but it'll have to be this to match. So I'm left with that bit there, which isn't big enough for this side. It's probably big enough for this bit here. But that means I've got to either try and move this one down, this post, because cutting this sheet is a pain, because obviously it's quite aged on the outside face. It does crack a little bit. Probably be better with a finer blade, but moving everything about and trying to put this on my table saw to cut it down, it's easier if I just undo the screws and move this, and I'm all for making life easier. So tomorrow, weather and wind permitting, which isn't looking favourable, we will continue on with the cathedral window. So we'll have a look what it looks like inside. I'm not really happy about the grey screw fixings, but there's nothing I can do about it. They're what I've got to use. So from the inside, don't look too bad. It's cut the light down, but then I've got the sheet over a little bit as well, so that gives you a bit more impression. Sky's clouding up, the wet stuff's on its way, so we'll cut for today, put the sheet back on and start all over again. Well, probably Saturday now, I think. Tomorrow's going to be a write-off, I think, so we'll just have to play it by ear. Good old British weather.